What up? It's your boy MC Shadow, right here, bringing you now the rest of Oceanside, north, of SD. Um, these are the remaining neighborhoods over here before we end up making our way down to Logan and Sherman and all that. And shit, there's a hitter right there. Fuck, I'm gonna have to bust a bitch to get it. Anywho, yeah, the rest of it and the rest of the neighborhoods right here representing for their side. And yeah, and that's what's up. With the rest of SD, like I said, his part 2 is gonna be done like about 10 parts. So, that's let's get started. Starting off with.
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment. Make sure you subscribe and check out the playlist.
I grew up hearing gunshots in the late night. Ghetto bird, police sirens as a mother cries. Just another victim of the San Bron genocide. Locals posted, locked and loaded, ready to take lives. And when they heard the chief lay, they would duck up out of sight. Like your car when the sundown, it was mission time. You had to stay alert cause bullets always travel blind. We stayed posted, we stayed drinking and we getting high. Marchando down the enemy's neighborhood as we ride. Put the hood, put the glica sample, fuck their side. No regrets, but the truth is no peace of mind.
G-File.
Here we have Poway Hidden Hills. Now, Poway Hidden Hills is one of those things where I keep telling everybody, do not let the way the area looks deceive you, or people think that, there's a lot of white people, it looks like a rich area. Don't let the looks deceive you. Like I said this before, all it takes is one motherfucker to run up with a Glock and bam, homie, ya estuvo. You done. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there, just like the wind, you know what I mean? Yeah, because it looks could deceive, like there's certain neighborhoods, the way that they run their program is different from other neighborhoods, so just because it doesn't look like, the ghetto or whatever, it doesn't mean anything. Now, Hidden Hills is it's actually an old neighborhood, you know what I mean? It's not that large. You can find them throughout the whole entire Hidden Hills, through the park, through the Poway Old Park is where you can find them chilling. Pretty much they claim all of this area as theirs, going at it with the surrounding areas. And yeah, man, they right here, they definitely doing their thing. Now, well, they're not that old school, but they've been around since the late 80s, early 90s is when their neighborhood was around. You know what I mean? They're roughly small, but nonetheless, man, they put in work. You definitely hear about them. I mean, they have the gang injunction. There's a lot of cases on them for racketeering, drug sales, arms sales, murders. So don't get it confused, man. Like I said, man, looks could deceive, and Hidden Hills is one of those neighborhoods that you hear about them doing their thing. Here you have La Colonia Eden Gardens. It's roughly an old neighborhood. But they always been small, but you can find them throughout La Colonia right here. You know what I mean? They claim the whole entire city, but you can find them right there in the Eden Garden apartment plexes. Is where you can find them posted and doing their thing. Now, like I said, they're roughly a small neighborhood, but they're old school. Like they go way back. Having heavy beef with Encinitas and all of that. They be going back and forth. Like I said, don't let the area or the names confuse you. These neighborhoods, even though it looks nice or people think there's a lot of white people over here or whatever the hell, hey, these neighborhoods still be kicking up, dirt and, putting in their work for their neighborhood and, putting their neighborhood up on the map. And, La Colonia, is one of them that also be doing the same thing, you know what I mean? And yeah, that's what's up with the gardens, you know what I mean? Now here you have Lonnie Street. Now Lonnie Street is a neighborhood right here in Oceanside, obviously on Lonnie. It's roughly a new neighborhood. It's only been around since the mid-90s, late 90s, early 2000s. Now I can't confirm if it's a neighborhood, but that's what they write. They write 1-3, but I can't confirm if it's a 1-3. You know what I mean? They're roughly a small neighborhood, but nonetheless, they're right here going at it with as you can see, with all these other neighborhoods, and I guess right there, they be doing their thing. You know what I mean? Now here you have Mid-Valley Riders. Now Mid-Valley Riders, you can find them right here on Fireside Park, throughout the back streets, throughout the whole entire Mid-Valley area as it is. I know People thought they were called Mid-Valley Gangsters or Mid-Valley Locals or whatever. Those names actually come from like different neighborhoods that are not even nowhere near San Diego. You know what I mean? Like 18th Street has a clique like that. MS has a clique like that. I think that's where they get those names confused. You know what I mean? But that has nothing to do with this neighborhood or nothing like that. They're their own neighborhood, and they're called Mid-Valley Riders. That's the name of the neighborhood, Mid-Valley, or you'll just see it Mid-Valley. You know, so it's not Mid-Valley Locals or none of that. You know, I mean, they do have some cliques, but you'll either see it Mid-Valley or you'll see Mid-Valley Riders, and that's pretty much, you know, how they do their neighborhood. Hey, they're pretty deep, and even though their turf is small, nonetheless, man, they right here and they be putting in work and putting it down for the neighborhood. Now here you have Marvin Street. Now Marvin Street is another one where I can't confirm if it's a neighborhood. I've been told that they're roughly small, like, you know, roughly small, like barely coming up. That they only been around since the 2000s, and but you know, nonetheless, they're right here in Oceanside by Marvin. And yeah, that's what they be, and right here representing. You get what I mean? Now here you have TriCity Thunder. Now TriCity Thunder is obviously right here in Thunder Hills, what's known as Tri-City. Now this is an interesting neighborhood, right? Because this neighborhood is half white, half Mexican. It started off with more whites than Mexicans, but now there's more Mexicans than whites. It's been around since the 90s. It's by the freeway, by the 76 highway. You know, is where you can find this neighborhood. Like I said, throughout, you know, Thunder Hills, you know, by the school and all of that. Hey, Tri-City Thunders, people think that it's they were like, oh no, man, that's a black gang and everything. I don't know why they say that. I don't know if it's because of the name or what it is, but nah, homie, they're homeboys. And like I said, they have a lot of whites in their neighborhood, but nonetheless, they're Surenos, and they be putting it down for their neighborhood, and been right there putting in work, you know, for the neighborhood. You know, they got a lot of cases on them for drug sales and arms sales as well. You know what I mean? You could definitely, you know, like, you definitely hear about this neighborhood, and they be doing their thing right there, you know, holding it down for, you know, for the Tri-City. You know what I mean? Now here you have South Oceanside. Now South Oceanside is an interesting neighborhood. It actually started off as a black gang. Then they had a lot of whites. Then more Mexicans started getting in, and now it's more Mexicans than anything. So they were not Sureños in the beginning, so they weren't like a Trece or none of that. Now this neighborhood has only been around since the mid-90s, but nonetheless, man, they be right here representing for the neighborhood and get putting it down. You know what I mean? You know, some people still think that it's a black gang. Some people still think it's a white gang, and you know what I mean. It's one of those things. Is like, it pretty much started off as a black gang. Then it was like mostly whites, but then it's Hispanic. As time, you know, more Hispanics start moving in. They're roughly small, and due to gentrification, now the neighborhood is like kind of like, you know, the hood are really be concentrating, trying to like eradicate these neighborhoods. But nonetheless, hey man, they're still right here. They still be right here representing for their neighborhood. You know what I mean? Now here you have Ocean Wicked Sureños. Now Ocean Wicked Sureños started off as a tagging crew, actually, tag banging crew. It's you know, it's roughly small, but nonetheless, you know, they be right there representing for their neighborhood, doing their thing. You know what I mean? You can find them through the south of Oceanside as well. You know, going at it with like South Ocean and like Tri-City, like in those kind of neighborhoods, street villains. Yeah, but the Wicked Sureños, you know, OWS, you see it right here. They be right there, like I said, holding it down for their neighborhood and putting it on the map. You know what I mean? Even though they're roughly small, and all these neighborhoods are roughly small, and they're not that old school. You know, only been around since the mid '90s, you know, early 2000s. I mean, they still hold it down right there for the turf. I mean, you go looking for it. I mean, you know, you might get dropped. You know, that's pretty much just how it rolls. And yeah, you know, that's what's up with the Oceanside Wicked Sureños. You know what I mean? Now here you have Esco Town Boys, or Esco Bandits. They're right here in Esco, on the south of Esco is where you can find their neighborhood. Now this used to be a tag bagging crew. Now, I can't confirm if it's a 1-3. That's what they say. That's what they put. It used to be 2 tagging crews. It used to be the Esco Boys. It used to be the Town Bandits. And then they just became the Esco Town Boys or Esco Town Bandits. You know, combination of both. Like I said, I can't confirm if it's a 1-3, but that's what they be putting. You know, wasn't tagging. They were tagging crews before, you know, only around the mid-90s, 2000s. But nonetheless, that's what they put, and that's what they say and representing. So, you know, I guess that's what's up with the Esco Town Boys. You know what I mean? Now, here you have one of the most active gangs over here in Oceanside. One of the active gangs in Oceanside is the Street Villains. The Street Villains is right here in Oceanside. They claim a good chunk of Oceanside, you know. They're a decent size over here in Oceanside, you know what I mean? And you do hear about them, you do see the activities. Now, I think it's the same one as the one from, I forgot to ask homeboy, I think it's the same one that's the one in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? So there is like, I think a connection between the two. So, you know, that's what's up with Street Villains right here. You know what I mean? Been right here in Oceanside since the 90s. Been right here holding it down and, you know, been putting in work. Like I said, you definitely see the activity by these vatos. You know what I mean? And they be right there representing for the neighborhood. Shout out to Vago. Shout out to Spanky from Street Villains out here. Putting it down and, you know, for their neighborhood. And, yeah, representing right here in the Oceanside SD. You know what I mean?